not about anything. This is just more about principles. Like,
I have my multiple screens set up, so I'm directly in the camera so they can see my soul, and then here, if I want to
yeah, I
look at
don't
your
like
beautiful face.
I don't like people to stare into my soul.
You don't know what you're gonna find. Yeah, it's been good, man. Like, I've just been like trying to live and married life and taking care of animals and stuff. Life's good
Okay.
for now.
You still in the same spot last time I visited you?
No, I'm in Sanford now.
That's right. I forgot,
Yeah,
bro. I
yeah.
forgot. Okay.
I've been here a
Wow.
year, but we've been we've been, putting some
So
work to the place.
so that leads me to like ask you, man, because I have to like
Sure.
you're good with the like hurricane and everything, because I
Oh
know that
yeah.
I forgot, bro. There was like no power there for a long time, all this stuff. So the storm like shifted up, I don't know, like
Mm-hmm.
20 or 30 miles. I
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to get like the north side of the bands or whatever, and that was supposed to be the worst part of the storm. But I literally like that little 20, 30 mile shift, like
Yep.
moved that shit away from me. So
Yeah. No, we're good. It was,
okay.
man, because the last hurricane, we weren't really here for, and it flooded a lot of the downtown Riverwalk area, so we were nervous about that. And
That's
we
why
were
I
watching
asked you,
it
because I
shift.
know, because I used to live over there, and I know that shit floods, bro.
That's
Like,
right. Yeah, you. That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
you did.
I
Um,
yeah.
no, this one was all right. Like the Riverwalk was a little flooded. We were good. It was a lot of wind and rain. First big hurricane in the new house, essentially. It held up. It's just the wind. It was just nuts. Like all the debris the next day.
Were
And
you inside? Like you were here for that?
this for
Like
Milton
you were here
just now.
during the last storm that we had, Milton?
Yeah, yeah. I did not.
Okay. Yeah, bro,
Nah,
it's
I didn't.
crazy, man. The wind is definitely crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like I live in an apartment, and like it wasn't as bad. It's
Oh, the
much
same
worse in
apartment
a
as
house.
before.
Yeah, I still live in the same spot. Yeah.
Okay.
The wind doesn't. I don't know if it's because I'm on like the second floor. My apartment building has 4 or 5 floors, so whoever's at
Mm-hmm.
the top probably like felt it the worst. But since I'm like in the side of the building per se, I don't have a roof. I
Yeah.
didn't like really like hear it like that or whatever. Like for me, I feel like when I was in a house, when I used to live with my grandpa, like when you in the house,
Yeah.
that shit sounds like it's about to just rip the roof right off.
Dude, I did like around, what was it, around 3 in the morning? Our power
Yeah.
wasn't out yet. So you're just kind of like, well, I still have internet, I still have power. And then when it went out, you're just like hearing that craziness. And you're like, God, I hope nothing hits this window. Like every neighbor's like, yeah, last time my floor was flooded and y'all got to be careful. Everyone's
Yeah.
giving you these horror
That
stories.
area,
And then,
that area is
yeah,
100% prone to flooding for sure, though. But
yeah. But it worked. I mean, I like it. I love the little town. The neighbors are cool. Everyone's been very helpful. Maybe next time we'll get like the boards. We didn't board up the house. Maybe next time we will. It's
yeah.
just you never know
You
what to do because you don't want to look like that. You know.
Nah, man, you can never listen. That is your sanctuary. You can never like overprotect it enough, right? The board,
Hmm.
like for me, obviously I don't own a home. I live in an apartment, but for me, like somebody like something hitting the window or whatever, that's the least of my worries. Let it do that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Property get damaged, you do the claims, whatever. That's what you got insurance for. The roof blowing off the house, that's you know what I'm saying? Like that for me, that's like, well, and of course, like I don't own a home, so some of my concerns might change when I do, but nah,
Yeah.
bro.
The concerns are real. Like I didn't believe it until you're sitting here watching like not the foundation shake, but you're just like looking outside like, is that puddle
Nah,
of water
I know
getting?
you felt. Hey, listen. I know you felt the foundation shake. You
Yeah.
everything that you can never ever hear or feel. You feel it in that moment. I already know. Like I lived in a house before. It's just, and I've been through
Yeah.
many hurricanes in a house. Like I don't know. Like this was actually the first. It's crazy because ever since I've lived in this apartment, every time a storm came, I've been traveling for my job. So, like, I've never actually been here for a storm in an apartment. So, this Milton was my first storm in an apartment. And I'm gonna, like, I'll pass a storm in an apartment all day, bro. Like,
Yeah. Did they give you sandbags? Did they provide anything?
So my door is like inside of a hallway.
That's right. Because you're up. Yeah.
And I'm in the second floor. So yeah. Nah, it was not too much of a worry for me. Thankfully.
Okay, because I know some apartments they had like dirt mounds and stuff for their ground floor residents. So that's another. That's that's clutch. Like, hey, we know you guys live on the ground floor, so
Yeah.
Let me take care of you.
The lake. I live right in front of a lake, though. There's a lake in between.
That's true.
And you can see the line. They haven't cleaned it up yet. You can see the line of where like the weeds and the debris and stuff, and it's almost like 1.5 foot.
Man, stuff like this makes me like, why am I still here?
Yo, man, it's crazy. But yo, so let me ask you this. Yeah. Let me ask you this. First of all, how long does this last?
I usually go for like an hour and a half, sometimes shorter with people.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
If you have a hard out,
I'm here for you. Like we here to chop it up, catch up.
I'm just chatting, man.
I'm just chatting, bro. You see, the problem with this is Nico likes to talk, but so do I.
That's why I was so excited. I was like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking to my friends for free. That's ran its course.
No, for sure. And since I do podcasting and everything, like, I know how to fully, not saying that, I don't know, bro, because I just literally saw this the other day, and I know you're starting up, but, like, there's so many people, it's actually you don't realize it until you, like, start doing this. It is very, very hard and complex to, like, keep a meaningful conversation going, like, unless like somebody can bring good context to things. So yeah. And I learned that when I started podcasting. Sometimes, like, I've been in a room and podcasted with somebody, and we're just like, so did you?
Like, a lot of filler words, like. No familiarity.
And it truthfully sucks because you're trying to put out meaningful content, whatever the case may be. I mean, at least on my end, right? When you talk to me, I'm a motivated person. I'm still very purpose-driven, still very, like, I've been going through my struggles and all these things, and I would like to talk to you about these things because it makes for meaningful conversation.
Dude.
And it's crazy because, like, you and I went to school together. We both have similar backgrounds where we was in the military, all these things. And so there's a lot of things you can relate. There's a lot of things where you might have seen me and you met me in a point in time where, like, I was this, like, super hard grinder, hustler kind of person going, like, hard 24/7. And then I think we talked about it a little bit, but, like, COVID hit and boom, like.
Oh, we did. Yeah, that was a test.
I went through a dark period. I still deal with it. It's kind of nuts. Like, my passion for music is not the greatest right now. All these things, we can talk about all these things, but yeah. So we here, baby. Let's get it.
No, yeah. Look, I have never been at a loss for words. I've had teachers, I've had family members, I've had strangers tell me that. So this is honestly the perfect medium for me. And I have people that are strangers reaching out already just to chat in this sort of medium because I treat this as like an exercise to hone public speaking, to get over any anxiety about putting your face or name or whatever out there because the internet has it. It's too late.
You and I have talked plenty of times, and I know you got it. You know what I'm saying? But I've put myself out there. I've never really seen you put yourself out there. Like, you post videos of you skating and things, but, like, this is cool, man.
No, this is the first one. Yeah, I had to rip the Band-Aid off.
I dig this. This is actually a really cool idea. Yeah, I watched
really appreciate it.
I watched this very, like, visionary coach, like, mindfulness kind of person. His name is Dan Martell. If you never heard of him, check him out. I'm still studying him and learning from him, But
Yeah.
I literally was in his live this morning, and this is how you can like literally like you never know when you're gonna impact something or change somebody's thought on something or things of that nature. I had no idea that there's this thing called exposure therapy. And
Okay.
yes. So he's actually his background, he's like a billionaire now or whatever. Like you look him up, you'll see. But he was like a software coder, like programmer, like geek. Straight up, just keep it transparent. And he said that once he started getting into all this stuff, like putting himself out there and all that, like this is exposure therapy. Whether you got one person listening, whether you got 500, it doesn't matter. Like you're putting yourself out there, and the consistency is what breeds success. Like anybody that ever like does anything, right? And they want to be successful in anything, a measure of success is different for everybody, but you
Mhm.
just have to be consistent. So you want to see growth and numbers and all those things in this, you're feeding like dopamine into your like mindset and all these things. So that's why you're enjoying it to doing it. But
Yeah.
literally, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about it that way. But literally, this is how you start, and then it's gonna go crazy because you're gonna have. This is, I'm telling you, man. This is, I'm so hyped for you. Like, this is a crazy,
I can
like,
feel it.
super dope idea.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
feel it. I like that
I'm
idea.
gonna rip this shit from you. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey,
We gonna do a.
that's how life works. You just steal from the greats, and totally accept that as a badge of honor. I feel I like the idea of exposure therapy because I think putting yourself out there is important. It gets over any shyness you may have, and even going through depression, like with COVID, and even with my therapist at the time, talking about it, like this helps on that next step. That's why I started skating and started posting myself out there because I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody doesn't like me. Well, guess what? I'll have a podcast about it, and we can chat about why you don't like me, or vice versa. Like well, I would never
Yo,
say
I
that,
can't
but
wait to see. See, obviously, this one's too friendly. Like, I fucking love you, man. So, like, it's like,
oh
you
well,
know,
that's why I talk to everybody. But I don't have enemies because like it requires a lot of energy to have such things. Now I'm not a fool. Don't think enemies don't exist. They can come from even within. So, but for me, it's just let's just have a conversation. That's
so
how all wars get started or solved.
yeah, yeah. So obviously in the urban hip hop culture, is like if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Yeah.
So
So like
you
it's just
gotta
a
get
matter
them
of time.
enemies, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's just a matter of time. And for me, it's like I like hearing that exposure therapy really makes me feel good because I've gotten a lot of good feedback. I take all the notes that people give offline and online. And in my core, I believe, well, people with a lot more evil in their heart are doing this and getting not just paid, but exposure.
Yeah,
Who says I can't either? So it's just talking. And
it
if I
is.
hone this craft for the next, I don't know, I've been doing it for 30 years now. I'm trying to do it very specifically. Who knows where it'll go? But that's why I said, let me chat with everybody that I know and also people that I don't. And I do it for a
The
living anyway. So it just sort
yeah.
of translates.
No, for sure, man. It's kind of crazy. That's why I said I'm gonna rip this shit from you. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out a way to do it. Put my own little twist to it. Right. I already do podcasts, so
Yeah.
it's just different because you're talking to just. So all the podcasts that I've ever done have all been. And what did I do before this, right? And it
Hmm.
wasn't like to like pre-script anything or anything of that nature, but I literally asked you if you had some kind of question or something that I needed to be prepared for. My question for you for that wasn't to ask you like to know the specific questions to for me to be prepared, right? Cuz I like this whole like just natural kind of flow thing. But I asked you that specifically because I wanted to at least kind of have an idea of what I was walking into. Not
That's
necessarily
fair.
to know the answers to your questions, because, like, I don't think that makes for good content. But I just wanted to know, like, okay, like, let's see what the, like, because, again, this is brand new for you. I don't know what your end goal for this is. So, but this is super cool, man. Every podcast that I've ever done have all had a specific purpose or goal, like, oriented. I do a podcast with my girl where we talk about media, pop culture,
Yeah.
and like all these things. So it's very focused, right? And if I don't dial into those specific things, then like it doesn't make sense. But that's why I like this, because you just talk about whatever. You're just like, how you feeling today? You know?
Yeah, how you feel. That's it. I mean, I think that's the basis of all conversations. How you feeling today? How you feel yesterday? And hopefully you feel better tomorrow. And having like a specific goal, I thought about that. I really did. But then I thought, well, if I was at a water cooler at work, you just chat about what you've seen on TV, what's going on in your coworkers' lives, or anything in general. So I thought about having like have a list of questions to ask, but then I thought, well, I'm not a talk show host where guests have to come in with a dumb little story about their life, and then everyone has to pretend to like it for 4 minutes and they move on. I want it to be more like, well, let's just chat about what's going on, and even for strangers, I
Yeah.
have questions I can ask to break the ice, but I've never had an issue breaking the ice and
That's
just
yeah.
talking. So
Yep.
I just didn't want to go against my instincts of like having something written down. I mean, maybe as I evolve, which I'm always looking to do, it could change. But right now, the format is talking, see where it goes, asking how somebody's day went, but also like, hey, did you see what happened in the news yesterday? Like the hurricane is for all my Floridians. That's one of the big deals. So that's an
Yeah.
easy segue into life and everything else. So,
No, for
but
sure, for sure.
entertainment, my goal is entertain and just enjoy. Like there's so much crap we could talk about.
So,
I mean,
yeah, for sure. So, with that being said,
yeah.
listen, I am probably like I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm probably like the most explosive, most like open-minded, like
Oh yeah, I definitely
entertaining
vouch for
person
that.
that we'll probably get on here for a while. So if you got some crazy ass question you want to ask me, just do it. That's what makes like
Well, I start out. When was the last time you did cocaine?
um when was the last time I did cocaine? Not just fucking with you. I actually have never done cocaine.
That's all right. See, now everybody knows I'm willing to go
but
there. No
but
hesitation.
but that's what
Everyone
makes
knows.
it. But that's what makes it entertaining. Fun fact. Fun fact. Since you brought up cocaine, I learned really fucking quick in the Navy. If you haven't told anybody this, Nico and I we were in the Navy. So in the Navy, that is like the premier choice of drug, because apparently it like fucking exits your system in 24 hours or the shortest amount of time or whatever.
You know what? I can believe that. Even if there was other, like, I can't imagine what another drug of choice. I don't think people would do heroin. Like, I
Well,
mean,
that
I'm
being
sure they
no,
would, but
but and that being said, I'm also speaking from 2010, 2011 Navy,
yeah, that circa, yeah,
where now shit is laced with fentanyl and you're fucking people are dying. So like I don't know,
yeah.
like I don't know now, and I never used drugs like that. So I didn't smoke weed, bro, until I
Mhm.
literally left the Navy. Like ever in my life. I was super like I had a very rough life as a child. And my like a lot of people have these backstories and all this stuff, and I'm not gonna get into this
Mhm.
now. We could probably do a part 2 or some shit. We can get into deep shit or whatever. But
Okay, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
um, I had a very rough childhood, and my growing up was very linear. Like I had to grow up really fast. Um, I'm truly supposed to be like in jail or like dead or some kind of shit like that, like statistics wise.
Mhm.
Statistics wise. I grew up with a single mother who had different boyfriends or whatever at the time. I've fought all of them. I this took me a long time to be able to talk about this like this openly, right? I was raped by one of the guys as a kid. Yeah, man. Listen, we here to talk, right? So
No, no. I mean, look, say it all.
it took me a very, very long time to be able to willingly just openly talk about this kind of shit. Cause
Yeah.
I'm a man, right? And all this shit. Like, I'm gonna tell you straight up, like, none of that shit matters, man. I
Oh
had no
no.
fucking control of the situation. I was a kid. I was like, right? In my specific situation, it sucks because it was like it's somebody who's related to a family member of mine, and so I've had to like deal with this my entire life. So that was probably one of the things that broke me down. Like during the pandemic, I literally had I had a situation where they were gonna come down and stay at like my grandpa's house and all this shit. And I told my grandpa, I was like, "Yo, that person's not coming here." And he looked at me. He was like, what are you talking about? This is my house. Like whoever wants to come here, and I say they can come here, right? And I'm like looking at my dead ass, looking at my grandpa. I'm like, that motherfucker is not coming here. And he was like, okay, something's going on. So then I told him, right? And that was my first like moment where I was like, yo, I gotta tell him because he obviously doesn't understand. So then,
yep,
I think you met my grandpa once. Like
one time,
he passed away now,
time.
bro. But yeah, that motherfucker is just something else. You know
yeah,
what he told me?
You were telling, yeah.
That motherfucker told me, he said, "Nah, peep this. Let him come down, and I'll fucking shoot him."
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair exchange. He's like, it's my last act on this planet Earth. I'll send him right to hell.
Woo! Yeah, bro.
Yeah. That's
my grandpa,
yo.
man. My grandpa.
Now you told a lot of stories about him, and that's by you mentioning telling that story, it's also like you come to a point where you can't hide from your trauma or pain forever. You never know when it's going to confront you, and you'll never know when you're called to say something. But when it hits you, and that was the point where you're like, look, this person, this piece of shite,
bro,
can't be here.
Yeah. It hit me, bro. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm older now. This motherfucker want to square up or whatever. I'll fucking beat him up. I'll whoop his ass, whatever. Like, I was like, let's get it. I was like, listen, I remember. I talked to him. It was a guy too, man. If it was a girl and it wasn't family, then maybe it would have been different.
It might have been different. But still, it's just the idea that you have like that your own family people would just be like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. No. But yeah, it's crazy. So I literally told the person, I said, I remember this. Don't act like this shit didn't happen.
Full confrontation.
Full blown. I said, don't fucking come here. Told him straight up. And so I literally faced it, right? And through life experiences and all of those things, not everybody's able to do that. And I understand that. I just, hopefully I serve as, if somebody listens to this and is watching this and fully listens to it, hopefully it serves them as a little bit of inspiration. And for me, that is my purpose. No matter what I do, as long as I can just put that little bit of grain and like motivation into somebody, that's what I want to do. That's why I said I'm going to rip this, because I fully like this whole idea, and just kind of like being like a mentor, guide, coach, whatever. Like, I like that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're put on this earth to do. I
feel like it truly is.
Yeah, I feel like that's why you gravitate towards it.
And that's why, like, from the minute that you've known me, I've always been like super motivated, outspoken, like, get everybody together, let's do this shit. But I'm also like not cut out for bullshit either. Like, and so some people don't like that, so
no. That's fair. That's you being you. Like, but that's you have to, you just go through life to figure out who you are, and then have the confidence to say who you are and what you're about. Like, I know what I'm about. Like, I know the things I'm into and what I'm not. Like, some people like pickles and they'll never like pickles. I don't need to have pickles 1,000 different ways to try to have somebody convince me to like it. I am.
Oh, you don't like pickles?
Hell no.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't like fucking listen. I don't like fucking pickles either. And you know what's crazy is the follow-up question. Always doesn't fail. Probably the same thing to you. They're like, "Well, do you eat cucumbers?" Hell yeah, hell yeah, I eat fucking cucumbers, but I don't eat pickles. Like, it's night and day difference of the taste. I don't fucking like pickles. Don't fucking give me pickles.
Cucumbers. I don't do pickles. I just don't. It used to be a point where if I even tasted it, I feel like I'm throwing the whole sandwich away. Now I do.
I do. No. I'm still bad like that. Like, bro, I was literally at this card shop yesterday. I was playing a card tournament. And we'll talk about that. I mean, after
Oh yeah.
fucking 30 fucking years, I got into fucking the most geek shit ever. Like, I never thought in my life that I would ever do this.
All right. Let me guess which one. Is it Magic the
You're not
Gathering?
you're not gonna get fuck no. That's
Not
too neck beard
Yu-Gi-Oh?
for me. Neither. No, you're not gonna
Oh,
guess. I mean, unless you see what I post. Because I literally posted
I didn't
something
see the.
like the other day.
I'm gonna get one more. You said geek stuff. Like I'm really trying to think. I mean, in this day and age, it's anything and everything. I'm gonna say
Right?
a My Little Pony trading card battle royale type thing.
Yo, you said My Little Pony. Listen, this kid is never gonna find me ever again. Right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and say this.
Okay.
I was on the plane flying home from a work trip, and this kid sat next to me, a young. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna put gender. I was gonna put gender and like nationality and everything into it because it's just odd. Like, let's just keep it
Yeah.
real. Like, it was just very odd. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say it was a kid, probably about like
Okay.
12 or 13 years old,
Okay.
and he sat next to me on the plane. Ah, shit, I said he. Fuck. It was a boy,
I'm okay.
and he was like, he was at least 14. He might have been between 14 and 16, bro. Like,
Yeah.
when I tell you, I took a picture.
Okay. Okay.
I will show you the picture because
Okay.
I'm not trying to shame anybody, but like, I just want to understand, right? I just want to understand. This kid had My Little Pony pajamas,
Okay.
My Little Pony slippers, and I'm not talking about like Yeezy slide slippers. I'm talking
Oh, it was like
about
My Little Pony slippers.
like those like cushioned, like it was like a pony that was like on the front with a little hair on it and everything, like those
Oh, okay.
house slippers. Yeah, it was OD. My Little Pony t-shirt. He had a bunch of like bracelets, and then he was carrying 3 ponies.
Oh, so like the toys, like in his like in there, like playing with them while on the flight.
Well, he wasn't
Oh,
playing with them. He's just attached to them. They're like
okay. It's like a
stuffed animals.
security. Okay, like a security sort of
Has
blanket,
to
like almost
be.
like a security blanket. Yeah.
Has to be. I know plenty of people. I understand that, right? I've been through trauma. I've been through all that shit. I understand that, right?
Yeah.
Um what I don't understand is like the overly like just fanboy,
Oh,
like,
okay. Like in it, like not okay. It's one thing if you have like okay, you have this shirt and maybe like and that's it, or you have a backpack, but just like it's from head to toe, it's full decked out, And if it's not my, it's like not just My Little Pony, but like if you're like a super fan into like if you love Transformers, you got 5 Transformers in you on the flight, Transformers shoes, Transformer like just
I'm still gonna look at you like the same. Yeah. Like, I'm still
oh
gonna
okay,
be
that
like,
makes
yo,
sense.
what's
I
going
mean,
on here? Like,
I'm thinking more so like what if something happens and you lose? Like, I can't imagine. Like, what if that kid lost one on the plane? If you get like if you lose one on the plane, you can't get back on. It's one of those things. Like, that's a lot of
and I'm gonna
risk.
go even a little further. Like, he had on all this stuff and was carrying the stuffed animals and all that. Again, I've been through trauma. I've talked to enough people. I know it's a thing, right?
Yeah,
The slippers just did it for me. Like, it was the slippers, bro. Like
This is liver-
you couldn't wear like sneakers or like even like slides or whatever. Like, I wish like I had a picture of like what like the slippers were, cuz like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
no, I get it. You know what it is? It's also. All right, let me ask you this: Do
you
you
only
think
wear
it's
them
also?
inside your home.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Like, is it combined with that the whole outfit? But the slippers is like we are on a plane.
You're in
Like
the
this is not.
airport, bro.
We're an airport, and you're like 12, 14. It doesn't matter. Like, if you have to run somewhere in an airport, you cannot run in
He was not going to be
slippers.
able to run. in these house slippers because the
Okay.
horse's head was just gonna bump into his legs every step.
So it was literally just like, okay, there's one thing if this kid's a fan. And then it's another thing, it's like the parents let them get on this flight. Like you're on a flight, okay. Dressing comfortable for a flight with some sweats maybe but like looking like you're about to go to bed. Are you flying to Japan and it's like a 17-hour flight, but you're just going to like Atlanta and back?
It was
Like, come
Atlanta
on.
to Orlando.
Oh, see? Like it's only an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like we can, try a little better. But no, I mean, look, people look, when you
Nowadays, you
see
got to
stuff
be
like that,
careful because you can't be offending people or anything like that. But guess what? There's
well, I
people
wouldn't say
like
this is
me.
offensive. This is like
Oh, baby.
I thought
Bro.
what the kid was
Oh,
wearing
bro.
was like it's a little much for the airport.
Oh, no. This is 100% offensive to somebody who is in the My Little Pony cult. And it's a real thing. Somebody told me,
What
and
are
I
they
did not believe
called?
them, and it's a real thing.
Let me see.
30-year-old men in like it's an actual thing.
Well, again, here's where they would push back against that. Just to hear the devil's advocate, they would say, well, it's no different than people worshiping like superhero movies, anime,
True.
any or even sports. It's like any IP,
Yeah.
the moment
I
you
get it.
start putting it on your body, but it's just what makes it sort of
It's what you're identifying
interesting.
yourself with. Yeah.
It gets tough. But I mean, the same thing if you're in the card shop and you're all again. I guessed it wrong. What were the cards? What were you playing before I get to
So I
there?
was playing Lorcana. So it's a Magic the Gathering
Oh, I have.
style game, but
Oh,
Lorcana is brand new and it's a Disney based one. So there's some Disney heavy hitters like in that. You know what I hate though? All of the
what?
people who like all the people that were like sort of good but just like kept getting like washed out by like the super
Yeah.
sweats in Magic, they just started
Mm-hmm.
gravitating over to Lorcana, and now like it's like super challenging.
Loracana.
Yeah, it's called Lorcana. It's actually pretty dope, man. We got it. I I've been to like 3 tournaments. I go to locals nights. All this shit, man. It's kind of crazy. I
Now
never in my
imagine
life.
that same kid. He walks by he's walking by the shop with his everything decked out, and he sees a bunch of y'all going in there. He's like, "What a bunch of dorks!"
Yeah. No, for sure. No, you know what's
No,
crazy is there's old ass
yeah.
men. There's old ass men that like whip my ass, and then there's like a 10. Dude, I was at a tournament yesterday, and I played this 10-year-old kid, and we went 1-1. He fucking beat me like so bad the first
Oh
round, and
yeah.
then it's crazy. But
Well, that's why I like living in this day and age now because, for instance, back before in the day, let's say in the 90s, early 2000s, 80s, a kid, especially a male kid dressed as my Little Pony on an airport, he probably most time wouldn't even have the bravery or the parents wouldn't even know to allow that to happen. Or even like all these
yeah.
card games and all this other stuff. So it's like in this day and age, everyone is technically is supposed to have a thing. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I
You know
feel
what's
like it
crazy?
feels weird when you don't have one.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is I tell this story all the time. So when I was in the Navy, I went to basic A school and then I went
Mm-hmm.
to sub school. I was supposed to go to submarines.
Mm.
And you know,
Okay.
word around the Navy, submarine community is just different. It's just they
Yeah,
call them bubbleheads.
you're
It's different.
yeah, you're in the
So
underneath the sea.
one day I checked into the barracks I was going to be staying at while I was at sub school, and you know, in the Navy, you're taught like, especially in the very early stages of your Navy career, you're taught like, hey, you know, you got fucking, you cannot fraternize, you cannot do all
Yep.
these things and whatnot. So for me, it was a shocker because I walked into the barracks room and I saw like O3s and O4s playing Magic the Gathering with a fucking E2. And I was like,
Oh yeah, that especially at what 19, that's gotta I mean blow your mind.
I
Especially
was,
that got out of boot
yeah,
camp.
but I always tell people that story because it was just, that was my first ever exposure to Magic. I was like, what in the world are all these guys doing? Like, what are they doing? Found out they playing Magic. And, you know, here I am, the Navy jock stud or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm going out to the bar, getting drunk and, like, doing all this crazy shit. And, like,
fulfilling the prophecy of the new junior sailor. I'm gonna get
right.
drunk and buy a charger. The prophecy's
Hell
complete.
yeah.
Yeah,
That militant, that E4
Mustang
starter kit.
ready.
Back in the day, you had that. The
you know what?
iPhone, the Mustang or the
iPhone.
Charger,
Hmm. That's it.
and I don't know, base Jordans, like some Jordan 1s or Jordan 2s or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And everyone had the same haircut. So like you could tell a mile away that, oh, this person's in the military. I never, like if you knew somebody in the military and you were civilian, you would say, I never seen that person with a beard. Or they always wear their hair in a bun. They're like their hairline's been pushed because they're always tying it back, or they only can grow stubble. Like not to
Yeah.
mention the charger and the iPhone and the ID in their car.
That's funny as hell, man. That
I
shit's
mean, so like
funny.
an O3 playing with an E2, basically it's like, imagine like the exec of your company playing with, I would say, the janitor. Essentially, if I had to break it down in those sort of terms for anybody else that doesn't get how weird it could feel like watching that sort of happen, especially after boot camp when you're pretty much yelled at 24/7 to respect rank, and then you go into A school and sub school and everybody's like, hey,
Totally
bro, would you
different.
like to pull up a
Totally
chair?
different. Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, okay.
Shit's nuts, man, for sure. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
In hindsight, I
But
realized that military is just full of people, like just people like us, just
I try
doing.
to tell people all the time, like I get all these comments. They're like, "Yeah, but you was in the military. Didn't you do this way or whatever?" I was like, "Bro, you do certain things because you have to, because you have like those guidelines or whatever. But like, the military was one of the easiest jobs I've ever had.
Because you can shut your brain off and just do it.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't have to
You
think.
just that's it.
That's what they wanted. That's what they always get. And in the civilian world, I sometimes tell coworkers and people like, whatever you think I did in the military, I did if it helps me get the job. Yeah, I did it. Like, yeah, sure. Because like I don't have time to explain the nuances of sweepers and cleaning. Like it's just I don't have time.
Yeah.
I don't have the
For
time or
sure,
the
man.
patience. And, the longer I've been away from it, the less exciting it feels. It's just more so like, you know, something you did and then that's it.
Yeah. I see I differ a little bit. Like I miss
Mm.
it sometimes. I like the structure. I miss the friendships and all the things. Cuz look, let me tell you something, man. Like straight up. Like so we met at Full Sail, right? And we were
Mm-hmm.
studying different paths basically, and we met up at during um our grad,
Entertainment. Yeah.
in business. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we come from different backgrounds. I understand the writing aspect, the creative like industry in that aspect, but I wasn't ever fully into it. So I don't know if it's like this, if you guys have like an association and all these things, but when it came to like music creatives, which that was what like I wanted to do, bro. I've made music. I've been in music my entire life, right? Whether I've like indirectly or directly have been influenced by it, I've been we all do. But there's always
Yeah.
those certain ones that just like I got certain rhythms, certain things that I started like peeking out like I was just different than other people. Like I picked up making beats super early on. People were not able to figure things out as quickly as
Mm.
I did. Back in the day in school when you had those like banging on the table drum like wars and all this stuff, like I was always one of the better table bangers, like all these things.
Yeah.
I had little things that like separated me from people. When I was in the military, you ask any veteran what they miss about being in the military. I 95. I'm gonna go with 95 because there's always that 5%. Like you got these like hardcore like America people and all this stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but 95% doesn't matter what branch in the military they ask you. They're gonna tell you they miss their friends. They miss the relationships. They miss the things that the times and the memories and things that you spent with the people. Because in the military, because we're all equal, 100% equal and all these things, we all learn to appreciate each other's company. It didn't matter like race, color, any of that shit. Like it was all 100% like just like, bro, like, we picked on each other and whatnot, but like let somebody else fuck with us and then like, and they about to get
Well,
like
yeah.
jumped.
It's
So,
yeah.
yeah. So when I got into music, in a slight sense, I expected the same thing. And
Oh, okay. No.
it's not like that at all.
No. And I think now in the news, people really find that it's not like that at all. Like all the things that are coming to light in the industry that everybody holds like, oh my God, like
So
it's not
listen,
like
listen,
that.
listen. All right, you wanna go there? We'll go there. So like, but listen to this. Like when I was at Full Sail,
Mm-hmm.
right? When I was at Full Sail, I was by far, and that's not that I think I'm better than anybody or whatever. Like I was by far superior in like knowledge, skill set, network, everything than literally like all of my peers. If in my undergrad, if you ask any of my classmates, anybody, anything, they would have said that I was going to be the most successful. All of these crazy things. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
100% set up to like just go, go live that shit.
Yeah.
Now, why am I not doing it? Why am I doing something? I'm working something completely, totally the opposite of my passion, of what I wanted to do, all these things. The true answer is that little by little no longer was like my passion, because
Yeah, that's fair.
I started dealing with all the little music industry nuances and things that life just taught me, like, I can't do this, right?
Yeah, that's
I've
fair.
been offered contracts where people try to literally, like, truthfully, like, take my soul, man. Like I was gonna be stuck in these deals and all these things. And you know what? I'm so thankful for like the mentors that I've had, like whether I talk to them still or not, all these things, because I have peers and people who were like friends of mine at a certain point in life that I met in that music industry, and they are literally slaves to the music industry, to the things that they're doing. They have
Mm.
obligations that they have to do. And what the average consumer does not realize is, specifically in the music industry, the music industry is really, really bad. Like it's a
Yeah.
shark, like it's deep waters.
Yeah.
Um and obviously, like you said, in the news you start to uncover certain things and whatnot. Like that's obviously like 0 to 100. That's 100,
Yeah, that's high
But
level, but it's
but
still
it
in
goes
all
down,
levels.
and things,
Yeah.
yeah, and things still happen. So I know people that like appear like they have all this money and all these things, and like this shit is
Mm-hmm.
100% true. When you see these people like on social media and things, they're only gonna post what's nice, what's good, what fills
Yeah.
in with their image, because that's part of what that's part of entertaining. That's
That's
part of like what do you do.
mm-hmm.
But then like I know the real like behind the scenes and the real things, and I refuse to be into that, man. I used to get really, really stressed and all these things, and I've never felt better. Part of me still feels bad, and I just know I'll find my way into like just kind of like my little niche, my little spot.
Well, you're saying you feel bad because you feel like you're not honoring your degree or something like that?
No, but I don't give a fuck about the degree. I don't,
Well,
no,
I mean,
no.
like what makes you feel bad?
Because I still love music. I
Oh,
still have that
okay.
passion for it. I'm just not willing to. I just got to find my spot. I'm
Yeah,
not
you're not
willing to.
going their way, and that's all right. Like that, go your own way and do however. Like no one says you had to make the records for the best stars in the world at any given time. Because there's in this day and age, there's so many ways to get a piece of the pie without doing it. Let me go get a record deal. Like if you're an artist, and then let me go sign to this label and only get
Yeah,
my album sells only 8 million copies. I only get 200 grand. Like just you don't have to
yeah,
do
yeah,
the
yeah. But that's
traditional
but
strat.
I'm gonna be straight up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna be straight up with you. That's unrealistic, right?
Oh, I agree.
you,
Yeah, it's a
you.
pipe dream.
But no, no, no. But I'm saying like to think the way that you just mentioned, like it's unrealistic. If somebody without the experience or without the knowledge or wisdom from other people or literally experiences, you will not think that way. Like I know you like to make films and all these things. Like if you were to try to tell me,
Hmm.
if you were literally to try to tell me and I was just like meeting you for the first time. I know you, so I know your purpose and your like values and things are different. So it's kind of an advantage to what I'm about to say. But if I just met you somewhere and we're talking film, and you tell
Yes.
me that getting a like an Oscar or whatever is not in your goals, like I'd be like, what kind of filmmaker are you then? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you
I
get what
can
I'm
see
saying?
that. I can
So,
see, yeah. I can see to the
yes, because
uninitiated, it sounds like, well, isn't that what you would want? Like it's like I want to play football, but I
exactly.
don't want
So
to
so when
get
you
win the Super Bowl.
exactly, of
You're
course,
like, what?
who the fuck says they want to play football and just because who the fuck wants to go make it to the NFL and sit on the bench? Nobody.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
It's interesting
now
because that is literally it's an uninitiated. People are like, well, why wouldn't you want the best? But it's
ex-
rare to meet people that are doing it for the love of the game. Like the love. It's like stealing because you just love to steal. I'm not
yeah,
looking to be the best thief in the world. I just enjoy it.
you're
So,
literally going right down what we're literally saying the same thing. So that's why I'm saying that like that's why I'm sad. That's why I'm sad
okay.
because I love the not just creating music, but I love the fact of like being able to collaborate with somebody and like just make something out of nothing. That's
Yeah.
like what motivated me or like made me feel good about music. But then what happens? I wanted to be successful in the music. So I started paying to go to these events, networking, meeting all these people, all these things, whatever. Bro, I interned for record labels, everything. Everything and anything is a business transaction, right? That's why I'm salty. I just mind my own business and I do what I want to do. That's why I said I admire little things like this because, like, this is totally different. This is totally left from what if you and
Oh yeah.
I would have talked, 10 years ago, or let me see, not 10 years ago, 7 years ago,
Oh,
you
I
would
would say
never told
7 to
me, like, let me
10. I
try
would never
this.
told you
Let
this.
me,
No.
but that's what I'm saying because you were on a different path and you were like, I want to make films. So your goal should have been like, yo, I need to pitch this movie to fucking Warner Bros. Or whatever. Like that should have if you would have never if you didn't tell me that those were your goals back then as a person and as an ignorant person, not knowing like the things that I would have known now, I would have
Hmm.
judged you and been like, yo, like this person is just not serious. Straight up.
You know what? And
Because
and no, that's fair. That's a fair assessment because that's how people think and are. And I would say to this, I would say to that, I would never have seen myself doing what I'm doing now, right? But I've had other people say that to me that they would have even back then they said, "Oh, you would definitely should be on a radio show or you should do like I've had before I got to school, but even when I was in the Navy, I've had people say these things to
same.
me. So
Same. It's kind of
when I
crazy.
chose when I chose writing, right, it's crazy. It's like I chose an avenue that I thought is a way people to hear my voice. And then it took up until now to realize, yes, I like writing and yes, I like doing short films. Yes, I like talking about movies and talking to people. But you know what? Let me just cut right to the bone and just start talking to people because clearly enough people have said it, strangers and people I know otherwise. Like I was on a short film set a while, 2 months back. This actor I've never met before, he having hung with me all day because we're working. He says, you know what? You should be an agent. Like just the way you talk and interact with everyone, you should do that. Again, another thing about connection. That
Yeah.
person doesn't owe me a compliment. He doesn't owe me anything. So I can see what you're going for. Like and trust me, I feel the same way. Sometimes it makes me kind of sad. Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I doing that? But
Nah, man.
there's no one way to do anything. Like
You gotta
I
have
could do
the
whatever I want.
yeah, yeah. And as long as you think that way, and man, it's just so tough, bro, because like
Yeah.
I own like 150 books. I've only read like through and through, I've only read like 10 of them. So, what am I trying to say with that? There comes a point in time where just because like I'm in a decent place where I can afford to buy all those books and like provide myself the opportunity to gain all that knowledge, If I don't sit my ass down and read those books and learn from it and apply, it's not just about reading it. If I don't sit down and apply the principles and the things that all these other people do to make themselves better and successful, then all of that, me buying the books and all this shit doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
literally decoration.
and at
Well,
this point,
yeah.
at this point for me, I just have to truthfully, like, just willingly accept that it is decoration. It's nice. I have books there, and to be honest, like, when I feel like pulling something out and just like when I look at something and it calls me, I take it off the shelf and I read the first 10 pages. Guess what? Those 10 books that I read fully, they have been books that have fully grasped my attention.
That's true.
It's been a book that
That's
I
good.
can't put down. So, and that's why I have
Well,
150
yeah.
books, because every day things are different. I'm going to think differently and whatnot. So, like, based on the conversation that we're having, like, we think a lot alike about a lot of things. Like,
Yeah.
you
I
can't
mean,
be
I
sad.
recently did that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
recently
that's the
did
thing.
like
Yeah.
reading books. I have all these books that I finally started reading from school and just have collected. I just did this challenge called 75 Hard, and one of the rules is
You
read
did
10
it?
pages of a. Yeah, me and my wife did it.
That's tough, man. So, like,
Yeah, it
look,
was
I'm
tough as
full
shit.
full transparency. Full transparency.
Yeah.
My fiance and I have talked about doing it for the last like 2 months. We've talked about doing it. I've yet to start it. Now,
Yeah.
two things. I've yet to start it because I know, and I'm at a point in my life where I've read and like learned certain things, like making promises to yourself and not following through with it is literally detrimental to your mental like health.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there's studies show all this stuff, like, whatever. If you can't keep a promise, and so that whole thing of like, don't tell people what you're about to do, just go do it, all this stuff, like, that's a very simple way of putting it, but there's a much, much deeper like meaning behind all that shit. And that is why I haven't started the 75 hard yet, because you know what? I'm realistic and I know that I'm not going to keep that commitment yet. I don't want to try to start it and then like not follow through
Once
with
you
it.
get, I no, look. I was so hesitant and resistant. I mean, she's doing the phase 2 of it. I stopped after the first. I'm like, I don't, because I like it's an interesting concept, but then when you break it down, it's just accountability. Like the one thing I really enjoyed was reading the 10 pages of a nonfiction book, and I got through one of my favorite books was Developing the Leadership in You 2.0, and that was the first book I did, and it was a
Okay.
book that's just been on the shelf, like just looking pretty. And then every other book I read after that during the challenge just didn't compare to that first one because it gave me so much knowledge that I'm like, I really don't. All the other books were fine, but this one is the one that I'm clinging to. So, like what you said is you only read those 10 books. Technically, there's probably only 10 books you need that help you. Because if I was to read up a book about filmmaking, I can only read so many books about filmmaking until you actually do it. Just like
That's it.
how to reading books on how to write a book. Well, eventually you got to write the damn thing. So
Yeah.
look, just because you have a large book collection, like if somebody had like 500 books and they read them all, but they're still like think the Earth is flat, I'm
If
kind
they're
of
not
like, what are we
doing it,
doing here?
I mean, stop. The Earth is flat. I mean,
Okay,
the only thing that's not flat about it is the mountains.
okay, I believe you. That's all. That's what I say. Like again, I am not paid by big science to cape for them and say, yeah, it's round as fuck. like, but it's just for me, it's kind of like if you get what you want out of whatever your belief, then that's all you can ask for in this life. Like, who am I
If
to
the
tell
Earth,
anybody?
if the Earth was flat, I would be able to jump and then slightly move when I land.
If it was flat,
If it was round.
if it
It
was
is
round,
flat. Yeah, if it was round and truthfully spins like everybody says it does, then when I jump up and I land back down, I should land in a different spot.
well, cool. That's how I say about it. Like, I'm not here to say I haven't been to space. Like, I could care less if people think the Earth is round or flat. I just think it's funny that it's even a conversation. Hey, there's some kids starving across the street, but I've got a theory about the Earth for you.
Nah, I'm just
Like
messing with you, man. It's
I
crazy.
think it's so funny that like that's even a thing. But again, people can read 150 books on that theory alone, and that is what they believe. So
Bro,
like,
listen. That's just absurd. If you know somebody that has read 150 books on whether the earth is flat or not, let me talk to them, please. I
I, I
I want
I
to
wish I
talk
did
to
know somebody
them.
like that. They
You
haven't
know what I'm saying?
revealed themselves yet. But I can't wait till it does, though.
One or two, maybe. You get second opinions.
Look,
100 somebody, bruh.
if some in my life came finally revealed themselves and said I'm a flat earther, I'd be like, now we really have something interesting to talk about because this whole time I've known you, it's been an utter bore. So now, now we're cooking.
Right,
So
right.
like, I wish that kind of chaos would just
Wait till
show up
you
at my
get
doorstep.
wait till you get somebody that like just goes and be like, "Why is your Instagram I'm black, y'all?"
Oh yeah, I can tell you. It was from the movie CB4. There's a song called "I'm Black, Y'all," and it goes, "I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black and I'm black and I'm black, y'all." I watched that as a kid. Watched it plenty of times
I
since
ain't
then, and I've always loved it.
I ain't gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
Oh, from Beverly Hills Cop. See, if I should have if somebody asked me that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's it." Oh, actually,
Got
you
it.
saying that got me an idea. I should rank. I've seen those not ads, but like those posts on like social media, like ranking like all the black, like quote unquote hood black movies that you should
Yeah,
have watched.
yeah.
Saying banana in the tailpipe I can see before it makes me realize I should do that. That'll be fun
That shit's funny.
because I got a lot of thoughts on all of
That's yeah.
them.
That's
uh,
definitely for sure. I mean, obviously my opinions will be differentiate. I don't know. I feel like somebody's opinions will be differentiate based on where they lived, where they grew up,
oh yeah,
where
yeah,
the year and time that they were born and like raised or whatever.
of
Like it's just
course.
the mentality changes.
But for me, I'm
You
like I wouldn't look at it like a documentary. Like I'm just
right?
like,
You working on anything new, man?
besides this, this is it for right now. I mean, well,
Okay, this is cool. Like
there
I'm
is
talking
one
about like
short I'm writing right now,
yeah,
but
that's what I'm
for
talking about.
this is my well, yeah, that is like you. It's kind of not to say hit the back burner because life, I've got things going on with the home. It's just so much has happened this year, but I'm finding my way back. Like early this, a couple months ago, working on that short film was always a nice recharge. It made me really appreciate the craft and I'm moved past the point where I feel bad that I'm not doing all the things that I think I should have done because
Me too.
what's the point? Like,
And shout out to the people. I have a consistent like few people that will message me like or talk to me randomly and be like, "Yo, where the fuck is the new music at?" Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm working on it." And it's not a lie. I work on music when I feel like it.
when I feel like
And
that's it. I do. I write some when I feel like it. I occasionally,
it has honestly never felt better. I felt so much stress and just so much annoyance with having to fall under the umbrella of like, listen, we and that's why I said like my passion has changed. Like I enjoy much more doing these type of things than
Mhm.
I do sitting down and creating music. And it's sad because I was so passionate at a point in time. I was so motivated to like make music and all that shit. But you know what killed it?
What?
The motherfuckers that cannot keep promises, the motherfuckers who changed
Yeah.
on me, like, and you know what's crazy is like they can do this whole thing of saying like, oh, this person is jealous or envious that I made it and I didn't and all this stuff or whatever. Bro, listen, I have no reason to envy the fact that you're a slave to the whole like music industry thing. I have no
Hmm.
reason to envy that you need to make all this music and hope to God that you grow so that you can make revenue to pay your deal back and then maybe survive. Like I have no envy of that. I'm glad that I dodged all of that
Yeah.
because
And that's some
yeah,
that
go
should
ahead.
teach a class on that. I mean, I think that people should teach like a class on like the reality of not just entertainment but any industry. Like I think you have to
It's
it has to be for the love of it, and you got to operate like Like, operate like as if you're already successful in a way at it, in my opinion, where you pick and choose the projects you want. And if you want to work on a project every month or every couple weeks and just grind it out, it has to be something you want to do, not because you got to make it. Because history has shown us a lot of these people we've looked up to that have made it are sometimes still living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, we can go with actors. This last strike, people that you watch on TV all the
Yeah.
time were like, I'm not making any money at this thing. And
Yeah.
I've worked my ass off to get to this point. So it's like, the party's over. Just do it because you love to do it. And if you never get paid at it, then that should be fine. The problem is that people aren't getting paid in their normal, regular life. So they think, entertainment is the way to boost their
Yeah.
finances.
And that has created that, along with the development of technology, has created this, like, it basically has lowered the barrier to entry, and it's
Yes.
allowing for a lot of the mediocre like shit to make it through. And that's why there's been this constant battle in like urban hip hop music and all this stuff, which is what, and I'm only speaking on
Hmm.
that aspect because that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I come from, right? But like, that's why all this music and everything is just mediocre, bro. Everything sounds the same, all this stuff. That's
I
why
agree.
artists like Billie Eilish and all these like random like little niche people are like blown the F up, because like it's different. Now, I'm just tired, bro. I got to rant a little bit. I'm just tired of like that whole like you owe me mentality, all this shit, bro. Like, listen, I had a guy. If he watches it, he's gonna know exactly who I'm talking about. So, but I'm not gonna put him out there. I have a guy who I worked on music with for like ever, bro.
Hmm.
We were working mad shit. Super dope, super talented. Randomly, one day, like, I go to listen to one of our songs because I genuinely like fucked with it. He had it released on Spotify, all this shit. I go to look, and it's not there anymore.
Oh, okay.
He just literally he removed all his music off of the thing, and I'm just like, bro, I literally invested so much time, so much effort, so much energy into all of this for you to just like randomly one day decide the music was already there, bro. Like you didn't even
Yeah.
have to do anything. It was already posted, made, everything. Like, it was great. Had hundreds of streams, all that shit. Like, it's just crazy, bro. Like that. Like,
Yeah.
so little life experiences have led me to just become salty when it comes to that stuff. And literally, I just want to focus and do my own thing. And this is why, like, I want to support like this vision of yours and have these great conversations, all these things, because I enjoy this. I don't enjoy
Yeah.
sitting down and making 10 beats anymore and like pushing and obligating all these people. I hate all these people that are like, yo, man, this shit is tough, man. Send it to me. And then like a month later, I'm like, yo, where's the music? Ah, man,
Yeah.
like I just
Yeah.
it happens all the time. Bro, I got another guy that I was like, I thought he was my brother, man. I thought,
Oh.
yeah. I'm gonna go deep. I have another guy. I thought he was my brother, man. Like we was cool as hell. I worked on music with him, everything. He ended up working, and listen, man, this is not about hate, this is not about anything, this is just more about principles. Like guy let me down, man, straight up just let me
Yeah.
down, because I thought we were friends, right? And that's what, and then in these industries there's no friends, bro. Like, this, straight up, there's no
Mm.
friends in this industry. Drake said it. I don't care. You probably on the Kendrick hype train. We can jump on that shit, but Drake is
I'm
Drake
on
is true
I'm
too.
on no rappers hype train.
He's
I just like good entertainment. Like,
yeah.
I don't,
So, but Drake said it. There's no friends in this industry, and that shit is true, bro. Like, I thought this guy was my friend. Um, he ended up starting to work for this like major record label, and like every single time I catch myself checking in on him, because that's just the type of person I am. I'm like, I'm checking. I don't want shit from him. I've told him since day one. I knew him when the motherfucker ain't had $5 to buy himself a fucking half Subway sub, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want shit from him. So
Okay, yeah.
literally, like, nah, bro. When he pulled this shit on me, I was like, this motherfucker is getting
It's like
robbed.
it's broken heart, you know. It's like
It really is, because listen to this. So one day we were both, because every once in a while I still pop out at events. I still go do things because I enjoy it, right? So I flew somewhere, popped out at this event. Guess who was there? This guy. At that point, now I'm slightly a bully, so I went up to go talk to him.
Slightly.
I went up to go talk to him, and he was like, bro, like, I apologize. He knew, just because people do fucked up shit.
So
they know.
he knew the code had been broken, so there was no need to like. So like he just knew when he saw you come in, he was like, it's time to face the reckoning. He knew he was in the wrong on that instance. He knew it
100%, because he's like, yeah, man, I apologize for not talking to you, because there was a point in time where he like stopped like replying to my messages. Somebody who I know for a long time, bro. Like before everything. So 100%. Again, I have nothing to hate on him for. I'm not that type of person, and I also don't want anything. Listen to the next steps. So, and this is why I stopped. This is why I stopped pushing myself in the music industry. 100%. Call it defeat, whatever. Nah, bro. Because you know what? 10 years from now, I'm still gonna be doing my little thing, enjoying it, while hopefully not. But your ass is probably gonna be fucking eaten up by these sharks. So we're talking, and he's like, yeah, my bad, bro. I just, been going through it. Ever since I got this job, everybody just wants like something from me, because I got the connects now, all this stuff. Like, I literally looked at him. And I was like, bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you straight up. And I said, when the fuck have I ever demonstrated or asked you for anything? Or literally done anything for you to think that I'm doing this because I need you to pull a favor for me or something of that nature or whatever. I'm not that type of person. So I let it be after that. Like, I talk to the person every once in a while, like whatever, but like,
no, that's a fair thing to do. You take yourself away.
That's all I've done now is like, I just remove myself from everything, bro. If somebody doesn't talk to me, then, and it's not that anybody owes me anything, but when I go out of my way to check consistently all the time on this person, you ever seen those messages where it's like, stop checking in on people and you'll see who your real friends are, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I look at those, I read those, and I'm like, man, like, that's got to suck for people who really feel that way. Because I know for me, I'm like, I'm happiest when I'm sitting in a room by myself. Like, I'm an extrovert outside the house, but truthfully, like, and it's how I was raised too. Like, I was always raised as a no news, good news. That's why it's always hard for me to check in on friends. Like, I have to act, and it's tough. And I think when people know me for real,
I'm not like that.
See, I know that's why
I'm quite the opposite.
Yeah, I fight myself trying to, be human like everybody else, to, so to speak, where I let me check on
that's
you.
Like, for this instance, like, that's why I'm like happy as shit right now, like, because I'm sitting here just catching up with somebody who I know is genuinely good people. Like,
and I feel the same. And
but you know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
like,
this works. Yeah, this works for me to, one, like you said, put myself out there. I've never been a huge social media person anyway. I don't take anything anybody posts on there seriously. I think everything's a lie. That's my core thought on most things. So
it doesn't
for me,
have to be.
It doesn't have to. And that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me put myself out there. No, I'm thinking about everybody all the time, but I'm just kind of like this single track mind. Like, I think about everything, but nothing at the same time. So for me, I'm working on myself to reach out to people more, just to, like, I don't even remember people's birthdays. That's how that's how I'm like, oh, it's your birthday. Okay.
Yeah, in a sense, I don't either. I rely on like, I remember some people's birthdays and whatnot, but for the most part, I rely on like Facebook and shit to tell me straight up. Like,
I literally think, who are the top two people in my life that I need to remember things about? Okay, I got them. All right, everyone else sort of get in how you fit in, and that's maybe not be the most healthier way of going about things. And I'm learning that.
no,
Because
no, no, no,
you gotta
no.
water plants like
You gotta
friendship.
understand.
But
Yeah, for sure, right? But at the same time, like again, everybody's measure of success and happiness is different. So if you are truthfully happy doing what you do with the few people that you have around you, everything else is a plus. It's not something that's a
yeah,
necessity or things of that nature, right? So like for example, but we're very different people in that aspect. So for me, for example, like I have my fiance, I love her, and she's for me, I do everything to make sure that she's good, right? Because she's the one who has my back during hard times and all these stuff. But this is why relationships work, right? So like she understands the type of person that I am. She understands that I, as like my, just like how I work, I have to socialize. I have to do all these things. Like we've been apart from all day. Like she was working and I was working, right? Barely talk. She got home. I told her I was going to jump on this call. She doesn't question me. She knows that like I need this
hmm
to be good, right? I'm just a social person. If I don't itch that like social like itch, I'm miserable.
yeah,
I drive her insane.
yeah. She's like,
So
I get it. I get that.
no, for real. I'm telling you straight up. Yesterday I went to go play the card tournament. She stayed home. I asked her to come with me because I was like, oh, you come with me, blah blah blah. But then just something inside of like her body language or whatever like told me like, you know what, she's probably better just staying at home. So
Well,
I
because
told her,
that's
I was
your
like, you know,
thing.
I told her, I said, you know what, stay home, you're good. She wanted to stay home. If she really wanted to go with me, she would have been like, nah, I'll go with you. She
Yeah,
didn't fight me when I told her to stay home because she wanted to stay home. She's different. She's a inside person. She wants to sit
yeah.
down and read her books, and she's into fantasy reading, all this stuff. So when you find somebody like that, bro, like you just gotta you gotta appreciate that shit because
Yeah. Well, I have.
no
That's why.
shame,
That's why.
no shame,
Me-
no shame to like some of my friends, but like I literally like see how some of their like wives and shit react to certain things, and I'm like, bro, I could never. Like I'm so thankful, bro. Like
Yeah. It's interesting finding people like you have to find people that not compliment you, but also let you still be your individual because you're individuals before you got together. It's only natural
facts.
that you hang on to some of that. So like she recognizes in you that, okay, this is a social creature, like a social butterfly that needs to be out. He wants me to go with him, but it wouldn't be, it would be better if he went alone because I like being home, but also this is your thing. Like
Yeah.
you don't never want to cross that quote unquote codependency thing. But then that leads me back to the thought that you were telling about the story between the old friend that sort of, had that in a way friendship falling out, but also business falling out. The one thing I think about like creative aspects or creative endeavors is once it's done, you kind of like have to let it go. Because if it's not a business thing where it's like, oh, you didn't keep it on Spotify or you didn't pay me or something like that,
Yeah.
one thing. But like once, like in my head, like once something is out, it's out. That's like even with these podcasts, I'm like, well, I can edit it for sound, but I am not into censorship or anything like that. That's YouTube and everybody else's job to censor. It's my job to say once it's out of here, you can't think about it anymore because it
That's
already
the
happened.
most and that's the most peaceful like feeling when it comes to all of this. If you
hmm
look, and also it's very important, very important in your growth in this journey of yours. And I'm sure you know this stuff, but I just feel like I have to tell you. It is
Please.
very important for your future fans and future like people that I wouldn't even say future fans because like just future people that connect with you and resonate with you is very important for them to see your journey, right? So like you can go back and backtrace content that I've put out and everything in any kind of like facility and see that I've progressed. I didn't always have these like pretty lights and turn on all these lights to make my little
hmm
thing look like a set and the nice microphone and the camera and all this stuff. Like I progressed from somewhere. Like, and he's still progressed, but it's super duper important for your people to see progression because, again, they see when you see commitment, when you see progression, and you see constantly like this happening all the time, and you see all this stuff, and you see commitment and consistency and all this stuff, it breeds trust, and that is where you now
That's a good way of
turn
thinking on it.
yourself into, oh, but you see that this is stuff that I learned from people that I follow and stuff that I read. So it builds trust. The human nature behind, I could be the sickest beat maker you know. And this is just a reality. This is just the reality of things. I'm pretty damn good at making beats. I've been making beats for 15 years. I sure hope that I could fucking make good beats.
Hope I
you know
how
what I'm
to
saying?
do it.
So that being said, there's a reason why I have not been successful at doing it. Let's just, hey, listen, I'm 100%. I can be transparent, real with me, everything, right? And this goes to serve. This is content in a different facet. So the reason why I've not been super successful at doing it is because of two reasons. One, I have not sacrificed what those successful people have sacrificed. I have not sacrificed what they've sacrificed. And then two, I guess kind of falls into number one as well. I have not dedicated and been consistent as some of those other people have been. I have the same fucking tools they have. I have the same resources. I have everything.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and that's the thing that has like 100% like separated me, and maybe that's why people fucking don't like me when it comes to this shit, is because I've accepted and admitted that, like, listen, I just don't have the motivation for that. So, and this is something that I learned from somebody that I follow. Motivation is not a never-ending source of energy. Your motivation will die.
Yeah.
That's when discipline and consistency take over.
Yeah.
Consistency and discipline is about doing what you want, like what you don't want to do, because knowing that you have to. This morning, I didn't want to wake up and go out and work out, but I literally told my girl last night, because she works a different schedule than me a little bit. She works earlier than I do, like an hour or two. So she wakes up at 6, and I told her, wake me up when you wake up, because I'm going to go to the gym. Bro, she woke up, and I'm like laying in bed, and I'm like, bro, I just want to sit here and then just clock in when I need to and jump on my workstation and work, because I'm working from home now. But then something clicked in me and said, you know what? No. Even if it's a lousy workout, get your ass up and go do it.
20 minutes, all you need.
So I went to go do it. And I didn't post no social media, none of that shit. You know why? Because I've been through it, and I'm tired of making promises and not delivering it on it. So right, we're human beings, we make mistakes, it happens. If somebody says that this, you know what I'm saying? If somebody says that they don't do that shit, they a fucking liar. Straight up. So it's crazy, bro. Like these same people that I follow, one of them is a 75 hard, like one of the guys that really like push that stuff. His name is Andy something. He's a sales guy. He pushes 75 hard, like hard. Pause. But he literally says, like, you can look at somebody and people look at me. Look, and this is not to fat shame or anybody, right? But people will look at me, and subconsciously, it's a red flag that I'm a little bit on the chubbier side. Because if I don't take care of myself and keep the commitment to, like, this is the business aspect, thinking and talking, right?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not fat shaming anybody or anything. I fucking weigh 300 pounds. That's why I need to get my ass in the gym, lose weight, look good, and do all these things that I need to do in order to continue to push my endeavors and keep going. Because when you do that, you build trust. When people see that you take care of yourself, right now, whether I take care of myself or not, I can sit here and say I take care of myself all day. But if I don't go to the gym and work out, take care of my health consistently, then I will continue to, I'm not fat by all means or whatever, and I understand that. That's why I'm okay. Like, I could talk about it and whatnot. I understand it
Well, it's
might
you
be a
being
sensitive.
confident in yourself. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where it all comes from. You got to be transparent and also like
hundred
not
percent.
ashamed to say, all right, this is who I am. To say,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
instance, for weight, this is what I weigh. Like,
yeah. But I understand. I understand that concept and that way of thinking, right? The things I've been hearing these people say. So
mm-hmm.
to the average consumer out and about, if people that I want to potentially sell something to, right, make business, because at the end of the day, we want to do these things for a living so that we can do what we got to do.
Provide,
So,
take trips, do whatever you want to do. Yeah.
So I got to make those commitments to myself, take care of myself, fulfill those promises, so that I can breed trust, so that people can trust me and my brand in order to, like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, no, that's fair.
there's plenty of like chubbier people that are successful, all this stuff. Like, obviously, but this is just a thing. Like, people literally, like, business people will literally, like, it's kind of crazy, but it's just a psychology aspect of it. Like, people will literally see somebody and be like, in sales, I literally, my last company I worked at, there was somebody that literally got denied an interview because, and it was crazy. The company told them, right? It's crazy in today's day and age how that works, but hey, it is what it is. The company was Chinese, so they probably don't care about, like, American like things. They literally told him, they said, "Thank you for your express interest. Your body profile does not meet our company standards for sales."
Oh, wow. Oh, damn. Yo, that's it. But that goes with like different countries and their different, I won't say HR, but their
Bro,
ethics or their morals are a little different. And they're like, look,
bro,
I can see why they say that. I mean, I
you
can
and I,
see why they.
you and I might differentiate on
Jesus
this thought process.
Christ.
You and I might differentiate on this thought process, but the USA is not the USA that it was 20 years ago. USA with all these things have just bred a bunch of pussies and softies, and like, we need some of these things to, like, help us be strong people and, like, be successful and continue to do these things. We cannot be
Yeah.
cradled and babied all day. Like,
Well,
when you
that's
have
how I. No, I get that. It's more so like, for me, it's more so like, it's all accountability. So like a Chinese company says, okay, you say you're motivated, you say you're dedicated, you say you're this, okay, you're an American. Okay, well, because of how much you weigh, that doesn't match up with your resume profile. We know that they assume because you weigh so much that you're lazy. So if you say you're a hard worker, you're this and the other, a lot of these countries who don't have like our obesity problem that we have here in the States, they're like, something doesn't add up. It just doesn't make sense. Like,
yes,
it's one of those things. It's like you can't change how another country has been doing business for hundreds of years because we're the new kids on the block.
it's culture. It's
But
culture.
it's cultural. But of course, it's sad and it's kind of screwed up in my opinion to hear. But it's also like, well, when you step your toe into other waters, you gotta be prepared for different criticisms. Like different countries have different cultures. We don't have to agree with
100%.
it. We don't have
Yeah.
to think it could be immoral. But it's like, that's when you have to make a decision. All right, am I willing to take that, lying down? Am I willing to stand up and fight for it? So like, yeah, I think people need to fight for what they want in life. Like you can't just let life hit you because it's going to keep hitting you. You might as well block a few punches on the way. So like, I
Yeah.
get your sentiment. Like people can be crybabies because it's like, well, you need to, put some. My dad used to say, put some rocks in your soul. Like life
Yeah.
is tough. It's hard. It is unforgiving. It is honestly, it is almost neutral. It's not really trying to be malicious. It's just things are malicious and things
It's
are
just the
good.
way it is.
It is
So
what it is.
if
So
you want to be different, you want to make a difference, you want to be successful, whatever,
mhm.
you can come. You could be down
But you've
for a
been
little bit
very
or
honest
whatever.
though. You're very
Yeah.
honest
Yeah.
when you say that like, the reason I'm not successful in this is because I have not sacrificed as much as the people that have been successful are, and haven't done what they've done. We have the same equipment, the same tools. Like, but I'm not willing, or I'm not at this point. I just don't care to put in that work because, in all honesty, some people can make it big without working that hard. It just sort of
And people
happens.
do.
What is it? And people do. It's opportunity and preparation meeting together, and that's sort of
Yeah.
lucky. Like, oh, I'm a great actor. I'm in a room with Denzel. Okay, is this time to approach Denzel like I would love to act with you, or is that to me being too thirsty? Or do I just show him like, oh, here's all the movies I've done. Maybe we'll work together. But he's more likely to work with you as an actor if you have a body of work because he knows you're a professional. Like you can't, like it's a different way of doing things.
You just, because you brought that up, you just clicked another light bulb in my library. So that is another reason, potentially, like in my case, right? And I'm saying this so that somebody out there who's listening, whether it's now or fucking 3 years from now, and this is a challenge that I personally deal with, and I'm still dealing with it, and it is what it is. Just because you mentioned being in the same room with Denzel, and like, you know, what do I do in that point? Do I be a sweat and show him all my movies or whatever? Listen, I have been in the same room, same place. I've had opportunities to talk to so many music producers. And out of respect, right? Listen, and this is where I'm going to say something that differentiates from a lot of other people. There's a difference between trying to take advantage of an opportunity or like seizing an opportunity and just being downright annoying, right?
Yeah.
So I say all that to say this. I personally have been in a lot of positions where I could have opened my mouth, told somebody what I do, and maybe been granted an opportunity or not. But because part of my morals and values and all this stuff, I understand that they're regular people just like us, and you know, they get bombarded and deal with this shit all the time. I'm a little bit more I don't know
reserved.
what the word is. Like I'm a little bit more
it's respectful.
Respect. That's why I said, all right, so there you go. Respect.
Well, yeah, it's a time and place to shoot
your.
your shot. You know, it's like,
So guess what?
oh, yeah.
The real thing is, and I'm gonna have to start preaching this. I'm gonna have to start practicing this shit to be able to preach this. But I'm gonna preach this shit all day. There is no such thing as a time and place for a shot. The time and place for the shot is the moment that you're able to take it. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in the if I'm in the airport line and I'm behind fucking somebody, like listen, like straight up, like that mentality of that time. There's a time and place for everything. Fuck that. That shit does not exist. For people who are successful, it does not exist. People who are successful, like that saying of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take that's what I'm gonna counter to what you just said.
No,
you miss
100%
of the shots you don't take. So that whole
here's an addendum to that. Here's an addendum to that just sparked in my head as you said that. The shots you're able to take. I think
facts. Yeah.
Even if you're in the same room, same time, same place, if you have a sniper, if you're not able to take the shot, the winds are bad. It's so like you just won't make it. It'll give away your position.
Yes.
Then you don't take it.
Yeah.
Because there'll always be another time, even if it's not with that person. Maybe it's the person that knows that person. There's not always is a straight on like, hey, 2 Chainz, here's my mixtape. And he's like, all right, sure. Now, if you can do it, do it. But again, I like the idea. Yes, especially in the entertainment industry, there is no such thing as no time.
I was going to say there is not going to be. I've thought like that forever, man, and it's gotten me nowhere.
That's fair.
And it's gotten me nowhere. The whole, you know what? I'm meant for this shit. I'm built for this shit. So the opportunity is going to come again. Guess what? The opportunity never comes again. Other opportunities and other scenarios present themselves or whatnot. But that opportunity that I had that one day is not coming back again because we're not going to cross the paths in the same spot, the same time,
you know
all
what?
this shit.
And here's how we'll elaborate on that. It's more so like being prepared for when that opportunity hits. So, especially in this day and age, you can be direct to consumer. If you're in a room with a producer, how much work did it take to even get in that room? I would like an average person working at a store who's 19, never done anything, and who wants to make music. How do they get into that room with that producer?
Unfortunately, in today's day and age, a lot of it is coming down to, and a lot of it boils down, depending on the industry, right? But all these industries are grimy. So if you have a cousin or a brother or somebody, or if you're, you know, if you look good or something of that nature, you can use those things in your favor to get there, and that's what a lot of people do. Unfortunately for myself, I'm not willing and not able, or like I just resist the fact of like trying to do any of that crazy shit. So that's why I'm not where I need to be. 100%. Like I know that for a fact. Like outside of just not doing the work, all this stuff, like it's just.
No, that's fair. And it's one of those things, like we could talk about this forever, but it's because it's such an important conversation. You can feel like you're not where you need to be, or you could feel like you are where you're supposed to be at every moment. That's how I think. I think of the opposite. Like I'm where I'm supposed to be at this moment. Now, could always be better. Life can always be better. It can get worse. It can be all things everywhere all at once. For me, yes. I think I'm gonna start thinking in that same line of like, there's no such thing as wrong place, like not wrong place, wrong time. Like
There's no such thing as right place, right time. Like none of that.
Shoot your shot if you're able to, and I think that's the addendum for me. Just me. Like if you're able to make the shot,
okay,
know that you'll miss it, or you could miss it, but you got to take it eventually.
But you gotta take it. If you don't, that
you gotta be able to sleep at night.
Happening again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Not in the way you think.
And I say all that to I've been there. I've literally been there. Like listen. I live in an area where it's a little bit more of an expensive area. Like I live in an apartment, so I don't pay that much. But the houses here cost a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. A lot of Hispanic urban artists live in the same area that I do. My girl and I were at Publix shopping one day, and we literally, like, I saw, because I know and I do a lot of research, I saw an artist that I fucking grew up listening to. I know he lives in my area. I know this because I'm like a whisperer in the music industry kind of thing. Like I talk to like the right people, and I'm connected with the right people. So like I know all these little details. Although I'm not like the big heavy hitter in the studio doing all these crazy hits with everybody, I know like the producers that produce with them and all that stuff, because I'm just a genuine person, and I've built relationship with those people. And again, I've never opened my mouth and said, "Yo, let me get on this. Yo, let me do this. Yo, let me get in on this." And because I've never done that is part of the reason where I'm at. Because even though I have those opportunities to take those shots, I never take the shots out of respect. You know what? Fuck respect. If you want to eat, if you want to do what you got to do, you just got to go for it, man. The people who are successful and do what like all these things or whatever, they're pushing through and they going after what they want.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm not mad at myself, and like I can sit back and talk about this in such a calming way and all this stuff, because I know that I haven't done anything for it. Now, if I've done everything and it just hasn't worked out for me, then shit, that would be disaster. But the reason why, you know what I'm saying? So literally out of respect for this artist, because he's shopping at Publix, right? He's like, man, you don't want to talk about fucking if I can send him some beats right now. I'm not saying that. I'm
looking
not
at some BOGOs.
I'm not, I'm not saying do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying again, there's a difference between taking a shot and being annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go hit him up and be like, yo, but I could have at least been like, yo, what's up, man? I know who you are.
There's been enough history between us bothering to the norm, quote unquote, normal, regular people bothering any amount of celebrities in a public space. That's them just trying to live their ordinary life. Granted, yes, they got to a certain success. There's certain things they have to do. There's a certain cross they have to bear. You will have people come up to you and sweat.
Beyonce can't go shop at Publix.
No, it's against the rules. So she can no longer know, but that's the sacrifice. So it's one of those things. It's respect, but also like, okay, what are you willing to do to get to your point? Are you willing to sacrifice a little bit of your self-respect to potentially sweat this person for a potential opportunity? Because we all know in Hollywood, everyone says yes, but how often are things in development hell before anything actually gets done? Because nobody owes anybody anything.
one of the greatest and one of my favorite rappers that is currently alive right now. His name is Jermaine Cole. You know how he got fucking
Yeah.
where he needs to be? He was standing outside of the fucking building every single day, and again, that's just not something that I'm willing to do, and that's okay, and that's why I can.
But he was
That's why I'm
also
okay with it.
prepared to do it. He had something to give.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
wasn't just,
See,
you
I'm
know.
prepared. I know for sure
Yeah.
I'm prepared because I've spent a good 15 years like perfecting everything. So the moment comes, I'm gonna grow a pair and take the shot. Right?
Well, that's
I've
fair. You're literally training. I mean, look, you're not a kung fu master after your first 2 years out of school, like unless you're a prodigy. But even then, you could be a prodigy artistically. But there's book smart and street smarts
facts.
change depending on your industry. Like even if you were a doctor, you could be the best intern in that hospital. But the moment you actually kill somebody on the table and legal gets involved, all your knowledge and skill is now it's gone out the window.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
you're now something
Wow, that was
different. So
actually
like
very gory and very like deep, but damn.
hey, it's true. It's like
Yeah, no.
no matter what industry you're in, you gotta claw your way to the top. But then you gotta say no on certain things and say yes on certain things. I mean,
Yeah.
the next several years are going to be interesting for the entertainment world because
So,
people are, what did Cat Williams say? All the lies and deviants are now going to be put to the light. All the
yep.
things you thought you knew, you did not know. And
Yeah.
so now we're trying to set a new status quo. So essentially the field's open, you
And
know.
that's exciting for a guy like me who's never willing to compromise and like go for the norms. Cuz I knew like in that aspect, like next to like the average consumer, all these people were bringing out the news and all this shit that they're being exposed to now because I've been potentially. I'm not saying. Listen, guys. Diddy did not hit me up and say, "Let me get some, and I'll give you a record deal." You know,
No,
but
that ain't no.
but but that being said, like I've been exposed to a lot of dark music industry truths and all these things that people think is all a dream and all this like, and it's not like that.
No, the
So
devil's
like I
alive and he's
yeah,
real.
it's exciting. It's exciting for me because like you said, you got to learn to say yes and you got to learn to say no to certain things. It took me a long journey to be able to say no to a lot of things, but now like I'm saying no to a lot of things and it feels good. Like granted, and the whole
Yeah.
thing of like, yeah, listen, you got to quit your day job and just go head on to things. Like I know so many people that like have unmasked that and it's not the way to go. You still have a life, you still got to take care of your shit, like unless you're
Yeah,
just
you still have
lucky and
to
have parents that take care of you and shit, but I don't
hierarchy of
have that.
needs.
I don't
You
have
need
that.
to have
And
food,
I
water,
have
shelter.
needs and all this. Exactly. I mean, more than that. Like, I have a certain lifestyle that I like. So I need to work and make the money that I make so that I can continue to live that. And it's important to not be comfortable with it, right? Comfortability is a success killer. So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to put yourself in the uncomfortable situation to potentially grow and continue to do great things. Um, that being said, man, this has been fun. Like this is we getting into the
Yeah.
2 hour mark, so
Oh yeah, you know what? That's kind of like, like any conversation at a bar, you're just talking to somebody and it just sort of happens. But look,
yeah.
we can do this. We can talk online and offline for 1,000 years. Like we can do part 2, part 3 of this. Like I don't mind, don't care. If I can't talk to my
I have plenty of
friends,
shit to talk all the time, man. So
yeah, like say, hey, like it's one of those things. It's like you're one of the few people in my life where we can match like we're just
the energy.
going, 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 going.
I
So
want to watch the next like episode. I want to watch the episode where like you don't have to like you can tell me like offline or whatever, but you like I want to watch the episode where you're just like, bro, like this one was rough. Like I couldn't get
oh
through it.
man,
You know what I mean?
I cannot wait for that day. You have no idea. Like I cannot wait. It's part of my thing. But you know what? Here's what we'll do. Since we're at this mark, we'll say we'll cut it a little bit here. But I have the tradition that I'm going to keep with. So
Okay.
last episode, my last guest, uh, they asked a question that they want me to ask the next guest, and so we're doing that for every guest. You ask the question that a previous guest wants to know. So my last guest asked me, "What is a core memory in high school that sort of influenced you?" So I'm gonna ask you that question now, and after that, what is a question you want me to ask somebody else?
Okay. Let me look up hard questions because I want a hard question for some of the next person.
Sure, sure.
All right,
Like
I
yeah,
got it.
we can do that.
So, a core memory in high school that shaped me to be what I am now. Is that right?
Or it can shape you. You can think fondly, think negatively. Just I guess the idea is like, what is a core memory in high school specifically that kind of like, certain things just stick with you. Like real, for instance, I told her you can listen to the last episode of Nico Likes to Talk. Everyone to listen to that. But my answer was pretty much like a near fight in high school on like a freshman year on the last day of school that kind of like made me think about not just turning the other cheek, but like a choice. Like, all right, that was the first time
Got it.
in
Got it.
my young adult life that I was like, this can go either way.
I got you. I got you. I'll tell you a funny story. This is high school. High school Jay. So
Mm-hmm.
high school Jay had no morals. High school Jay didn't care. Right. Um. Some of my friends from high school, which I still talk to every now and then, we're in Discord groups. Because I'm local and I stayed here. I have a group of people that some of them are friends with people who do not like me because for the same reasons that I'm about to tell you now. And it's unfortunate because I know they're good people and I have changed so much that I'm just not that person anymore. And like, I understand that and I can get past a
Yeah.
lot of differences, but some people can't.
Yeah.
So I was known in high school to just like whether we were friends or not, like if your girl looked my way, like and I was interested in her, like I'm hollering. So
Shooting shit. Okay. High schooler. Like I expect nothing less from a high schooler. That's
so
so far seems
exactly. Some
fair.
people listen, some people just don't get by it. So I had this one guy who was a blood, right? We in high school,
Mm-hmm.
like it was a big thing in school, like these little high school gangs or whatever. Like, listen, man, like maybe some of them were exposed to the real thing. Majority of them weren't. They just wanted to be cool and be tough in high school. So
Yeah.
there was this girl, bro, beautiful girl. Like I still remember her name. I still remember like everything about her. Like she was naturally blonde, curly hair. She had like very, very light colored eyes. She was just like the one that everybody wanted to go. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna fucking go after her. I don't care if she got a boyfriend or not. Her little boyfriend was like the tough guy. He wanted to show up and be the tough guy, all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, every single time, man. Like what was crazy to me, and again, it's high school. What was crazy to me was this girl was calling me after school on the landline because we're that old that I didn't
Oh
have
snap.
like I had a cell phone and all this stuff, but yeah, she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
calling me, talking to me. We were friends, everything like that. And the guy would find out and get pissed and try to like fight me. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you trying to fight me? Like, yes, maybe I crossed the boy line, that code or
A
whatever.
little
But like
bit.
you, but you're not my friend. Like I don't care. She's talking to me. Your problem is with her. Talk to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
She kissed me one day before he like went to go get her and all this shit. Like I don't know, bro. I just think it's crazy, and I laugh at it now because this guy is just going through it like now. You know what I'm saying? Like he just
Oh yeah.
yeah. He's just low life guy or whatever. But it's just crazy. It's funny.
No, I mean that's it's one of those things. You're in high school. It's kind of like, look, if we can consume media and read books on all this crazy stuff that these kids get up to in high school, dating who and cheating and then all that stuff, like it happens in real life. Like, look, yeah, definitely. If nobody cutting you some slack, I mean, you're a high schooler. Like that's where you're learning your morals and what you say yes to and no to, and like, I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't really matter now, but it's a core memory because it's like you went for something that, like, hey, you know, why not? It couldn't hurt. But how would you know if then that now? Like you're a different person then.
Yeah. Nah, it's for sure is crazy. But what you gonna do?
Nah, that's a
All
good
right.
one. I like that.
That's just, I mean, I'm trying to think, man. I had crazy high school stories, but I was also a good kid. Like, all of that, I was a good kid, man. Like, I didn't skip school. I got into a fight
Hey,
one
you're not going to
time
skip school. I'll kiss your
for a
girlfriend, but
girl.
I'm never going to skip
Like,
school. I'm not going to be a truant.
that's funny.
That's
All right,
funny.
so my question. This one. I guess
Yeah.
this would be good. I'm curious to know. Like, hopefully, this person is equipped to like give a good answer. I don't want some like basic answer, and you let them know. Like,
Okay.
I don't want a
No
basic
basic
answer. I
answers
don't.
this one. All
No,
right.
this is a deep question. I want to know what the next person thinks the world, not the U.S., whatever, what the world is going to be like 10 years from now.
Oh, okay.
Are
That's a
we,
fun one.
yeah, are we going to blow each other up and not be non-existent?
Ah,
Is everybody going to side with one another and take out a common enemy or like threat or things of that nature?
okay.
It can get very
That's an
deep.
interesting one. I
So,
like that.
yeah.
Well, I'll answer it because that's, tradition is I'll answer it first. So,
Okay.
because, it's only fair. In the next 10 years, specifically 2034, let's say 2035
2034.
for fun, I think we're going to face probably another type of pandemic. I don't think we're going to face any nuclear war blowing each other up per se, but I
Okay.
do think we're going to experience a lot of not just, sorry, I'm sounding like a politician, not just climate change, but I think we're going to lose something historic on the planet. I don't know what. I don't know if it's not so much something man-made, but I think something very natural. Either an island that we all used to vacation at, maybe I hate to say like, Puerto Rico, DR, anything like that, just because it's the closest thing I can think of. But
Yeah.
even if not in America, but I think we're going to lose something. Um, I think we're going to come close to another conflict that will not necessarily have a draft, but I think the lines will be a little more divided. I think we're going to have a lot of expats or ex-Americans moving to other countries in hopes of some sort of, um, a relief. But I think something like that happened. I think we're due for another cultural shift, just like COVID was the 2020s sort of milestone, and the early 2000s was a 9/11. Like we're due for another major event that will shape it. I think. I mean, not just thinking like leadership wise, but I think we're going to lose some world leader somewhere, and it's going to shift the balance, not the balance of power, but something's going to shift. But
I
I
know what
think
you. Yeah,
we're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
lose a
This is
landmark.
an interesting like this can go.
I think technology will be fine. I don't think technology is going to do us in. I think it's just more so pollution or
You don't think a
where
robot
it's
is gonna? You don't think Elon Musk's robot is gonna like
no.
start shooting everybody?
I didn't say it, not in 10 years. No, no. I think, and here's the thing: it won't even be if it is a robot. It won't be his. It'll be some other company who tried to overreach, just like all science fiction, and then that
Power,
is a
greed,
catalyst for something else.
power, greed.
Um, yeah.
Literally, that's
So
all I gotta
that's my
say. Yeah,
answer.
yeah.
I
Nice.
think we're going to lose a lot more respect for people we've trusted the last 40, 50 years, and then that's going to just shift. I mean, it's just I think that's what's going to change.
All right, Nico, it's been a pleasure. I
Yeah,
got
man.
WWE Raw to go watch this Monday night.
Oh yeah, dude. Heck
Listen,
yeah.
listen. I want to do a part two. We're gonna make part two.
Sure.
We're gonna make part two very interesting, and we're gonna give something for the people to watch. Right?
Okay.
We'll figure out when to schedule it, but I want to make part two. Obviously, after a couple of months of like, I don't want to do this now.
Oh, you
You
want to do it
release
next
it.
week?
I don't.
Oh no.
I
No,
want to
wait,
give
like 2
people.
months?
I want to give people like time to like digest this, and then see
You
a
know
part
what?
two of us. So,
New Year's extravaganza.
so maybe that's too far. Maybe like a month or so. We give it time, but
Okay.
I want to make it to where like our next conversation is just hard questions for each other. Like I'm gonna come up with a
Okay.
list of like what I think is gonna be difficult questions to ask you, and you should do the same for
Okay.
me. Specifically
I can do
me.
that.
Yeah, yeah. You know me well enough. Like I'm not one of your stranger followers, so it's much harder to do that with somebody you don't know. You know me personally, so you can ask me certain things. I know you personally, so I can ask you certain things that I like.
Okay. Let's come up with 5 each.
5. That's good. That's a good number.
5 each of hard questions. That's fine. I think that's an awesome. Honestly, like you said, you might like crib it. I might take that and bring that on. But I'll save. You'll be the inaugural the hardest 5 questions ever segment.
You imagine?
Yeah.
I hear wrestling in the background. I gotta go.
Okay, we'll end off that. Like.